actually hit you. Our city hall, which houses not only the city government offices, but our police department and our fire department, which is one of the buildings right in there at that campus, they are both completely destroyed. And when the sun can begin to come up this morning, and I walked out to view the city, all I could think of was matchsticks. It looks like matchsticks. Our buildings are destroyed. My church is destroyed. Our downtown churches are destroyed. We have no water here. Our water supply has been compromised. There is no electricity within the city. There are parts within our county that do have some electricity, and so we're trying our best to get those who have lost their homes into shelters there. Churches have opened up their buildings for us there. And so we have two local school systems, which are wonderful, and they're busing people out there. We have received, even though our water source is compromised, we have pallets and pallets and pallets of water. Every type, I've heard from so many mayors all over the state, every type of aid that you can think that we need immediately is pouring into our small community.
Absolutely. You're on the southwestern corner of the state near Tennessee, and we know that was obviously right in the path of the tornado. I would expect mayors from all across, as you said, are going to be sending people your way. You talk about matchsticks, and, people will.
Oh, my heart goes out to the places that were by that tornado, but it ain't over yet. I think we got warm weather coming, and and then a dramatic change of a cool down. So that's going to bring more bad weather. So it's crazy. Weather's changing big time. There's another storm coming in out of the west here shortly. Just be safe, people. The weather is nothing to mess around with. And I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Mother Nature," and she'll do the old. It's enough. I believe it's time for us to stop turning it into fairy tales. I don't think people really know the significance of what really is going on in the world. So, uh, everything might be true what they said. The world's changing. If you ask these people that are so wrapped up into this sorcery or witchery crap or the devil, people, well, then that's what it is. Whatever you people want to believe, hey, nothing I can do about it. But I can tell you this much from past experience and what I see happening is it ain't over yet. The world is changing, and this was a cycle that the world went through thousands of years ago, and it lasted for a while. So this might be the new norm for this area or on Earth. So you have to be safe. We might have to cast these demons into the lake of fire. We might have to bind these people and these demons and witches and go back to the old times. I don't know. I bought a bunch of silver chains to melt down in case we got to make silver bullets or silver arrow tips or been reading up on it. You don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. My apologies go out to the families and the areas that were struck by a tornado, but it ain't going to change. The weather's changing, and keep an eye on the weather. Weather will kill you. Cold weather will kill you. Hot weather will kill you. Severe weather, meaning high winds, weather is nothing to play with. always be ready. If you have to dig a hole in your backyard, to jump in the hole, maybe underground or something. I mean, you know what gets me back in the 50s and stuff, when we were at Cold War with other countries and everybody was afraid of the bomb being dropped. Once we created the nuclear bomb, the atom bombs and the big bombs being dropped, that everybody in America just about had bunkers in their backyards that were dug in underground. You know, what happened to all that kind of stuff? Well, there's no need for that. It's never going to happen, but they should have kept them bunkers because they weren't thinking about what weather can do. You know, you have to remember back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, they were real big. You'd see it looked like a pig silo in the backyard with a piece of sheet metal going over it that they make like sewers with, or they used to. They were stainless steel, pieces of steel or whatever, had ribs in them and stuff, you know. So, they chose to get rid of that. It'll never happen, everything. But see, they could have used that for weather. They were bomb shelters. A lot of people had them in their basements. A lot of people had them outside in their backyards. And that was good for storms. And if things get pretty bad, I mean, they're not going to tell you the truth. They don't want to tell you, these people want to think, well, we don't have to worry about nothing. We're protected by God. Okay, if that's what you want to think. Some people think it's the devil doing it and the witches and they're conjuring up. Okay, that's what you want to think. But whatever it is, it'll kill you. And, the scientists are proving this is how the world works. We can prove it scientifically, meaning there's an answer for every reaction and an answer for everything we need to know how the world operates. If we lose our core, we lose our magnetic field. The world is changing. This is a cycle that happened thousands of years ago, probably. No one recorded it. Who knows? It could have been so long before man that the earth went through a cycle of certain things it did for so long to either cool itself or heat itself up. We don't know yet. But I probably could say this much. It ain't over yet because there's warm weather coming to this area next week when it should be colder. We're talking up into the 60s or whatever. And then it's supposed to drop off again. And then it's supposed to get warm again. And it really don't get real cold and stay cold until January or so, February, from what the weather charts are showing. So this and that, we don't even know if that's going to happen. That can all change with a couple of eruptions or something like that. Hurricanes, all kinds of stuff is going to be happening. Like I said, it's a cycle. It happens. It's been happening. My heart goes out to the families and everything. I'm not going to lie to you. It tore the crap out of the United States. And it ain't over yet. It's going to be back. And, hello, Lynn. Sorry, sometimes I don't pay attention to my chat. I'm just sitting on the couch here in front of a microphone talking. And yes, you're right. You're right about the weather's changing and everything. But my heart goes out to the families and everything, but it's nothing to play with. We need to start building different in our country. Uh, how high will the waters rise down south? Every year we go through this, and it actually costs us money and insurance money. Meaning everybody's rates go up on home insurance or rent insurance or whatever. Why? Well, because we know Louisiana is sinking. We know Florida's sinking, but yet we build. We know we have hurricanes on the coast, yet they flock there. Then them homes get destroyed and they need to pay out in insurance. And when they do that and lose a lot of money, what do they do to compensate that? Everybody's rates go up. Not just down south, not just everywhere, to pay for the big payout that we got to pay to rebuild. And these people rebuild, and then within a couple years, same thing happens. So, and it's actually costing us money and stupidity. It's like us. I don't know. How can I stress this? Going up against God or whatever. He tears apart that part of the South down there with hurricanes or whatever, and people we'll rebuild and everything, and then okay, eventually the hurricanes come back or whatever, the tornadoes come back, the bad weather comes back. We need to start building for our weather. You want to live down south there, then maybe we have to start building houses that are breakaway houses anchored to a concrete block that is in the ground 15 feet down, where the house breaks away and floats until the high waters recede. And then the house comes back down, and then we can push the house or move the house back to where, there's all kinds of options. Everything's got to be built on stilts, 15 feet high down there or whatever, but we're just rebuilding all the mold, the sickness, the teardowns, the death, the contamination of water and everything. They had a warning and didn't go home. Yeah, they need to build for the weather. Like I said, it ain't going to stop. People want to say God's mad or it's the devil or whatever it is. I believe it's just the weather changing, the earth changing. Things are changing on earth. It's like a woman, always changing her mind. You know how a woman's body is. It's a lot different than a man's. Their chemistry and all their stuff. And, constantly changing. And so is the earth. And so people say the earth is like a woman. No, I hope not. Enough of these fairy tale things. It's what we create. We actually bring these things to life by believing in them. The earth is not like a woman. The earth is scientifically proven to be what it is. It is a ball of energy. And once that ball of energy burns out, then things start to decay away. Meaning you lose your atmosphere and you succumb to radiation, solar winds, and flares from the sun. Everything dries up and the earth starts to do its changing. You lose your atmosphere, you lose your oxygen, you lose. I mean, could we have really, instead of spending all this money in war, and religion that has done nothing but cause most of our troubles, politics or whatever, you know, could we have used that money to build, to prepare in case something like that happened, where if we lost our atmosphere, we would have enough oxygen supply to, create something after everything is gone. What I'm talking about is a machine that would create oxygen and filter itself and filter out carbon monoxide. Were there things we could have done to prepare in case of that instead of blowing so much money on war? And we are better than these people, and we are a superior race than these people, or even we are more superior, period, to all these people. And the devil thinks he's better than God. God runs the show. And who is stuck in the middle of all this? Us humans. Who suffers through all this? Us humans. We're the only ones that suffer, succumb to disease, sickness, hunger, and weather. The human body will succumb to it eventually. What gets me is these things are bad. The things that they sell to us, that pump into us, we do have choices. But don't these people understand that they know it'll kill you, but yet they put it on your shelves? If you eat something, for 50 years, the same thing, and they know eventually you will succumb to the death of what the product they're selling you will do over time, but yet they put it on our shelves. People eat it up. It's like anything. Anything is an addiction. Life is an addiction. So do I say that we haven't seen probably the last tornado of 2021? Probably not. Not if they're calling for warm weather in a week or two, and then it's supposed to get real cold real fast like it did. Probably not. We'll probably have some more bad storms, and eventually it'll equal out. We're hoping, hopefully that's what happens. We're hoping. But like I said, a lot of this stuff has never been done this cycle. This probably happened thousands of years ago. And it might have been something that stayed in that cycle for so many years, maybe thousands of years. We don't know, 1,000 years or whatever. So, nobody was around when some of this stuff happened. Or at least they couldn't explain what it was. Cigarettes. What did that have to do with your building falling? Yeah, and Bear Aspirin. I believe it was Bear Aspirin that Mike Nesmith's mother was the founder of that, and also the liquid paper. He had a lot of money, I think he died recently. Rest in peace. So yeah, I think originally he was the founder, or his mother was the founder of Bayer Aspirin, or one of the aspirin companies, and then she even did more and created. She was very smart, or they were very smart, and created liquid paper too, and other things. So you don't know. And people are upset because there's some people out there that want to take the Bible seriously, and they want to do what the Bible says to do, and that it was all real, and these witches and demons and vampires and things. You know what a demon is. In the old Bible and stuff, it was that they used to call them vampires, a demon that would attach itself to you and suck the life out of you, or trespass on you, or whatever it is, or someone that would put a spell on you, or something, a curse, something like that. Them were called vampire spirits that just suck the life out of you. And then people said, "Oh no, well that's God doing this, that." People failed to see the whole beginning of the Bible, that God was love, and peace, love one another. You have no sins, but that don't mean you have to go out, because see, people fail to remember that Jesus died for man's sin and everyone's sin, meaning we have no sin. He died for that already. We have no sin. He died for us to live and have life. But they fail to see that we should be living in life. But yet they've created things to take life, and then some people say, well, that's the devil. Okay. If we're going to live like the Bible and be the best in the world, then we have to start building for weather. Our food needs to be clean. Our water needs to be clean. Our children need to be able to learn, because we are lacking in technology. Whether you people want to admit it or not, the USA is lagging in technology, and there will be other countries that hit this technology before we do and use it before we do. And I've seen it, and it's very good technology, and it is a very great idea. If I can build something that doesn't take a man or a woman to operate, and they can operate it a different way and use it to protect, then I'm all for it. But then you have them people that would say, well, what are we going to do? The Earth's going to get all. Well, there's ways around doing that. You're only allowed so many kids. I mean, really, when you think about it, people are like, well, you can't tell us that. No, what we're trying to do is preserve the world and change the way we live. Now, you people want to say it's new world thing, or whatever they call it. You want to think differently than what? Well, yes, because see, I care about humans and life. I'm not an alien. I'm not a demon, a spirit. I'm a human, and people and humans do die and come back to life. That don't mean they're special or anything like that, or it's the human body, science. There are people that have been dead for over 10 minutes and been brought back to life and survived. There's been people that were probably dead longer than that and have come back to life, meaning the heart started pumping maybe again, or maybe it was something to do with that caused the heart to shut down for so many minutes, and then the heart, you know, electrically started itself. These things are all proven scientifically with doctors and scientists. No, I'm a believer in something good. Something's got to be good out of this crazy madness. And I also believe in pure evil. I don't want to believe in it, but it's there. It exists. Things that are bad, things that people do to people they're jealous of, whether through money, whether through looks, whether through anything. We live in a very sick world. Do I have anything against people going to Bibles or to churches? No. You want to go to a church and it makes you feel better, go ahead. But keep this in mind that Jesus once left the church and went amongst the world. But then again, I don't want to get too far into that because I'll blow your mind with some stuff that I think, the church is supposed to be the Lord's house, and it's supposed to be for everybody, not individuals that they pick and choose who is allowed into their church. And that's where they've gone wrong. They now pick and choose who can go to their church, who can believe in God and who can't, who can be saved and who can't. It's ridiculous. The earth is changing. That was a warning. If you want to take it that God was mad, then God might be mad. God might be mad because there's certain people that changed their lives. Them people got upset about that and got rid of them people, or tried to. We really don't know, Have I succumbed to death? Yes, but does that mean that I'm dead? So people can now try and channel my spirit or bind my soul or anything like that? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Some say, it's probably magic or alchemy or something that they're doing or whatever. Who knows? I'm not part of their little organization. But for these people to go ahead and do what they do on earth, and they say, well, we're the chosen ones. Well, I don't know about that either. What I do know is the world is changing. A lot of people are saying it's impossible. It is not impossible. Anything is definitely possible. This planet is a planet. It is actually a star. And one day it will be either the moon, or it'll be Saturn, or it'll be where our nuclear fusion core goes boom and lights up like a star. We don't know. We can only go by what scientists are saying that this is possible. We need to start living and thinking a totally different way, especially on Earth, and especially in the way we build, the way we teach, our technology. Technology is good, but only if you have the manpower to operate it, to be able to read it. If technology gets too far and you just don't have the manpower to operate it properly, safely, there's nothing you can do. And this country has fallen behind dramatically on things. If we're dealing with spirits and demons, then we're dealing with spirits and demons, witchery or sorcery. Then we have to deal with witchery and sorcery. Whether it be binding these people or actually physically binding these people. And what gets me is you go through the Bible and the Lord says, forgive those who trespass on others. Okay, well, that's telling me that that one person can trespass, whether it be spiritually, whether it be whatever, on another. Because why would the Lord ask for you to forgive those who trespass, as we forgive the Lord or for us trespassing on the Lord? That is something in there that tells me that it is possible for someone else to take over someone else's soul or spirit or whatever it may be, because the Lord would never tell people, forgive those who trespass, as the Lord forgives us for trespassing on him. And you know what? I'm not really biblical. I'm not really church going, or I don't know all the stuff in the Bible, but kind of makes sense to me. That means, that whoever these things are, whatever they are, whoever it is, it must be possible for a human to trespass on another, whether it be demon, spirit, or a human. It's almost like they tell you when I was younger, if you hang around with a bunch of idiots, you become an idiot. If you hang around with a bunch of violent people, you become violent. If you hang around with a bunch of people that are doing nothing but bad, you become bad. And that would fall into the terms of forgive those who trespass on us. You know, is it possible? Well, it might be. And if that's the case, then we need to start living like that in America. If it is the Lord and the devil battling and changing the weather or whatever, then we have to adapt. We are not gods. I'm a human being. I can prove I'm a human being. Scientists can prove I was a human being or am a human being. And, if there's anything into the Bible about all this, then we need to start building for weather. You know, do I believe it? No, I believe it's science. I believe it's the weather pattern. And the scientists can prove it, and that's just the way it is. And for so many thousands of years, people thought we all lived in a dome, and you'll never be able to get past that blue sky, that there's nothing out there. Well, they proved that wrong. You know, there is other things out there. For all we know, we are aliens. For all we know, we walked out of the desert, the jungles, where these people remained and lived the same way for thousands of years as we advanced. And then once they seen things in the sky, oh my God, it's the devil, it's aliens, whatever. The weather's changing. My heart goes out to the families of the tornadoes. They need to start building houses with safe rooms in them underground. Or even if someone had a safe room above ground, I think that tornado was powerful enough to, if it was above ground, it was going to tear it apart. So you got to start going underground. Depending on where you live, is the water table. It might not be a big underground thing. It might be only 5 foot tall. You might have to crawl in it and sit down. It might be only 6 foot tall or whatever, a couple feet underneath the ground or whatever. 4 foot, 5 foot underneath the ground or whatever. But it's protection. And I have a feeling we're going to have a lot more of this stuff on Earth. Now, like I said, I believe in something good. People want to say a higher power, whatever you want to call it. Something good. And lately, if you people haven't noticed in America, what's happening is not good. Well, it might be for some of you, but to me, it ain't good. And slowly each day we die. Some die of loneliness, some die of just madness, some die not by their own hands. And what you're seeing a lot in the world is exactly what I'm talking about. We ain't dying by our own hands, meaning we're not deliberately trying to take our lives. Our lives are being taken by people that pick and choose or deliberately inject us with something or a sickness or try and do bad things to get rid of you. You might know too much. They might just be jealous of what you had or what you did or who you were. Like I said, it ain't over yet. People are looking forward to 2022. Well, all I can say is prepare for 2021 all over again. Not because I want it to happen, but just in case it happens. But people keep going on, don't tell us what to do, and yada, yada, yada. And then, they succumb to something or whatever eventually. And not that we're trying to say, well, we told you so or anything. It's proven fact. The world's changing. One day when we wake up and it's just total peace and just silent, no wind, nothing, just everybody feels like $1,000,000. Beautiful looking, everybody's feeling great, everything is going great. Well, then we'll know that the Lord is on earth. But what we're dealing with now, I find it hard to believe that anybody is calling anything good. And I imagine probably 2022 will go the same way. This might go on for however long the Bible said that the devil was released. If it was 10,000 years, then it might be 10,000 years. But then the scientists look back at it and say, well, we did the calculations and all the calendars that they had. So 10,000, 1,000 years was 1 year. Okay, so 10 years we might have to go through this if we go by the Bible and everything. If we go by the scientists and the professionals, this is a cycle that the earth goes through. Do we know how long this cycle will last? No. It might last 1,000 years. It might last 5,000 years. That would be 5 years, 10 years. We don't know until these scientists figure everything out. But what can we do? I don't know. Now, like I said, people are pissed because we want to bring the Bible to real life. We want to live like the Bible said on earth as it is in heaven. The Lord cast out demons to hell or whatever and does certain things in the Bible to these witches, demons, whatever, sorcerers, And then there's some people saying, well, you can't do that. It's against us. Well, if we don't do nothing, then they continue to do it. They continue to wreck people's lives. And then, people get upset and say, well, how could the Lord do this and always testing us and always doing this and recollect, we ain't got no life. We spent 50 years being, healed, then wrecked, then healed, then wrecked. It's like we're their toy. Their toy. And once you stand up and you take one of them out and the other ones see, they took that dude out. Literally. Then that'll show them, hey, we are here to be free, and we will go through anything to get our health back and our freedoms. Of being, we just want to be left alone and live a good life, a happy life, and we don't want none of this bull crap or whatever these people are, trying to push on you or whatever. So is the weather going to change? You bet your butt. For how long? Who knows? 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50,000 years ago, whatever. But if you, like I said, if you talk to the scientists, the professionals, well, 10,000 years was, 10 years. It might be 20, 30, 40, 50 years. 100 years, whatever. That the earth changes with the weather and the cycles and everything. I would believe by now, oh God Almighty, that you would make yourself present on earth after all this death, all this suffering and pain, loss of children, loss of everything, that surely the wisdom of God we would have been living, there'd be a cure for cancer. There'd be a cure for Alzheimer's and all kinds of stuff and everything, and parasites and everything. There would be an answer and a medication for it to fix it. Being God Almighty knew everything and has the answer to every sickness, for every disease, for every poison, for everything. But it just ain't happening that way. And a lot of people are saying, oh, well, what do you want to, well, we have to change. If we don't change, the rest of the world is going to go on. And we are already lagging in technology and life. They can create life in a lab. They can create a womb to create life. No. So, like I said, science proved everything. A man and a man cannot have a child unless they have it through a lab. A woman and a woman cannot have a child unless the seed of a man is created into a woman or implanted into a woman. So it's not about all this and that. I like women. Some women don't like me. I've never beat on a woman or abused a woman or done anything bad to a woman like that. I might have called her a name or whatever, And what gets me is a lot of these big guys on here now are tough guys or whatever, or that we're here for the woman and we don't. Most of them have called women names and went on for the women. You ain't going to talk to women that way, but yet they do. And then when they go ahead and they smack around a guy for talking to a woman that way, and that guy gets pissed off and he just literally beats the living crap out of the guy. Any weight, baseball, bat, whatever it may be, pay for someone to do it. Then they, when most of these guys are one, everybody has an altercation with a woman, and it goes and create that inside labs. That's no longer the case. What are we going to do? We've put women so far up on pedestals that some of these women are just wrecking the world. And we were raised not to hit a woman, not to, you know, but if people really don't want, in my head, you won't make it out alive. You won't. I think about serious stuff that you people ain't ready for. The only one that probably might be halfway there is Elon Musk, but other than that, computers and all this, and now, my God, they're going to take over. Yeah, how? A computer will only do what it's told, and that's it. It don't have its own brain. The only thing that it has is a computer chip that has been programmed to go over every scenario and solve that scenario. Now, is it a human brain? No. No, we can't program a computer to do one thing and tell it to solve these problems, and then all of a sudden it decides to say, no, I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to take over the world. It can't work that way. So it's hey, Valium, how you doing? It's really crazy. Well, like I said, I like women. I love women. I love a woman when I'm with that woman. When I'm not, I'm alone. And you have to be strong at that. Like I said, I'm used to having a woman in my life all the time. The past 10 years after my operations that I had to have and everything, I've been on my own. I lost my house, cars, everything. I'm on my own. Nobody wants you when you're down and out. But when you're on top, you got every leech that wants something from you. And when you got nothing, nobody wants nothing to do with you. If you don't act a certain way that they do, they don't want you. They don't want you around. They don't want, they just don't want you. If you look different, nobody wants to be around you. The society we live in today, back in the day, your grandparents, they wouldn't have teeth or anything like that, but they were in love with each other, and you never made fun of them, did you? No, because that was your grandparents or whatever. People that were disfigured or whatever, and you had in your family, you never really made fun of them too much, did you? No. But if you were out into the world, you do. If you're around people that make fun of it and think it's funny or disgusting or whatever, what happens? Well, then usually everyone goes with the flow. And oh my God, look at this, or look at the way he does that, or whatever. It is a wicked, wicked world, people. Created. We live our lives by what's in the book. What's in books, that's how we live our lives. If it's written in a book or if it's on a TV screen, we live our lives that way. Now, do I have anything against the gay people or transgenders or anything? No. They want to live their lives that way. Go ahead. It is not me that is condemning them. It is the book that was written that these people believed in for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I didn't write the book. You want to be gay, be gay. All I can say is it's not right. Why? because a man cannot impregnate another man, and a woman cannot impregnate a woman. Therefore, it's a society that cannot procreate. If they want to be that way, they can. I'm not the one punishing them. It is God, not me. I didn't write the Bible. You know, the Bible is what it is. It was between a man and a woman. No, I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad. If you want to be a woman and you're a man, then be a woman. But be prepared that men, excuse me, some men are not going to take to that. You know, you might have to be with a woman, even though you look like a woman, you're with a woman. You know, if you're going to procreate, if not, you can't. I mean, you can artificially inseminate, and a woman can have a child, or a gay man and a gay man can adopt or artificially test tube babies or whatever, but you still need a seed from the woman, you know, eggs from a woman or whatever, you know. So what we're dealing with is unbelievable, truly unbelievable. Do I think the weather is going to change again before 2022? Probably. There might be more storms. Be prepared. Here I am talking about being prepared, and I'm not prepared. I wish I had a generator, solar one, in case the power went out here. I have something to keep the fridge going and the heat on or the air conditioner on to change to the weather, to keep the water running. These are things we have to start doing. But see, people have caught on to that. And what have they done? They charge outrageous money, knowing that this is the way we have to change our lives and live on Earth to survive. And they hold the key because they have the stuff, but now they just charge outrageous money, and most people can't afford it. And a lot of people told them, people, when they were designing a lot of stuff like that and coming up with solar and wind and all this and that it's useless. It'll never work. Well, yeah, it does work. It is working, but it costs so much because it's about money to them. And then you have that two-party system where I might think it is safe for us to start thinking about building in a different way of energy. But you're always going to have them other people out there that say, nope, coal is the only way, nuclear is the only way, and this is the way we're going to do it, and gas and petroleum and all this stuff is the only way. Maybe gas, petroleum, okay? You know, I keep telling people electricity is good, but if we lose our atmosphere, our core, and everything else, the earth is going to get real cold or real hot, and batteries succumb to changes in the weather, meaning we're not going to get as much life out of a battery as we would a full tank of gas or whatever, you know. In weather, if it is dramatically cold on Earth and then batteries are not insulated properly, the cold will suck the energy out of that battery. If them batteries are not insulated well and the Earth gets very hot, then batteries will overheat. They won't hold a charge. They won't perform properly. we've spent so much time in war with religion in other countries. You would have thought by now they all would have came together and said, we need to start thinking for mankind. We're not demons. We're not fallen angels. There are fallen angels. There are demons. There are people that sold their souls to the devil. And I imagine these are the people that are trespassing on us as the Bible spoke. But that's if you go by the Bible. If you go by science, it's just a matter of time that the earth makes a dramatic change that we can't pull out of. You know? So all this talk about everything that's going on, I have a man or a woman, whatever she wants to be called, it's her choice. That pops in here once in a while. I think she's one of my mods. I've watched some of her videos. I'm going to admit to you, if she was born a woman and looked the way she looks right now, she would be a very, very, very attractive woman. And I'm not holding anything against her or anything. I'm just saying if she was created by God in the beginning as a woman, she would have been a very attractive woman. But she was created as a man. Yeah. And the way I was raised, it's between a man and a woman. Maybe next time, if she had the chance, maybe God would make her a woman, but she's a man. Do I find her or him? I've been calling her. Do I find her to look attractive? And like I said before, if she was a real woman, born as a woman, and look the way she does right now, yes, I would have dated her myself. Nothing against her. I hope she don't get mad at me. She's one of my mods, I think. If it's even her, I don't know. It could be someone in here that is saying it's her, but it really ain't her. We get these people that are sent to our channels to do nothing but destruct our channels or play mind manipulating games with us. Okay. Like the earth does. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We can only predict what's going to happen tomorrow with the weather. Do we know exactly that's what's going to happen? If you ask the scientists, it's in the ballpark. We could wake up and have the earth can crack open tomorrow and, So, like I said, the earth changes. A lot of people say, well, it's like a woman. The woman is the thing. No, what are we going to do now? As men, are we going to put these women on pedestals where we are worshiping them as they walk all over us because they hold the key to life? But really what they don't realize is we figured out the key to life scientifically. There's countries right now actually building robots with wombs that can actually carry a child for 9 months and give birth. And robots that they can actually have sex with, talk to you, have somewhat feelings, emotions. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. So what are we heading towards? What are we doing? Everything's changing. I know people say don't listen to him. He has no idea what he's talking about. Maybe they're right. But it is a proven fact that we can create life in a lab, in a tube, in an artificial womb. And there's no need for humans except for the seed. Which the seed is being created within the labs now genetically without even human semen or eggs. So the world is going to change. And I would keep an eye on the weather because my heart goes out to everybody in Illinois, Arkansas. You know, I don't know if it happened in Illinois, but Kentucky, Tennessee. Oh, it just tore the heck out of everything in Kentucky. 200 miles that baby was on the ground. 200 miles. So, that is somewhat of a calling card to the scientists that, yeah, I mean, we haven't had a tornado on the ground for that many miles, a damage path, 200 miles, in a very, very long time. So, it's changing. And I think what you're going to start to see is you're going to start to see hurricanes that are formed that will be so potent, so powerful that they will actually come onto land and create their eye and hold their eye and tight wind patterns and everything, and all the way up into the middle of the United States. And even as it comes over land where people are going to say, oh, well, it'll die off now, where it don't. It'll become like a hurricane that is on Earth, similar to what's on Mars or Saturn, the great storm that continues to go on without any water to feed it, like a hurricane. People say, oh, it needs water and all this and that. Well, there's storms on other planets where there is no water with winds 500 miles an hour that continue to go on and on and on without any water on the planet to heat, to feed it. So people better start thinking a different way. I know what you people are going to say out there. Some of them holy rollers, the cults and everything. It's God's will and everything. No. God created man with wisdom and gave us the choice to either use the wisdom to try and keep mankind alive or destroy it, which we've been destroying the world. And some of it has nothing to do with God. God's probably sat back. I'm just speaking as if as a ongoer, as a watcher in a football game or something, people don't, the world don't need me to destroy it. Humans are doing a pretty good job, and Satan and the fallen angels or whatever. So what do? I don't know. We start planning. That's all we could do. When the weather comes out and there's a chance of bad weather, that means if there's a chance of bad weather 3 states away from you, and they say, there's tornadoes that are touching down there, be prepared that it can very possibly, everyone said it gets 200 miles away or whatever, be prepared, because with weather like that, these tornadoes can pop up anywhere. And you noticed they're having tornadoes in parts of the world that they never had tornadoes before. That people are like, oh my God, what is this? It's a tornado. We don't have tornadoes in this country. Well, you do now. The earth is changing. So, we want to believe in good. We want to believe in God. And in order to believe in God and good, then we have to believe that there's evil that is on this earth, as the Bible spoke. And there's things that the Bible spoke of that were real. Now they want to say, no, it ain't real. That was just an old fairy tale. That it wasn't, there was no witches, there was no demon, there is no devil. It's sickness and mind control and whatever. Okay. Then I don't want nothing to, if these people decide to rebel against all this and wipe this world clean, we don't want to hear about it was, God's will or anything or whatever. When the scientists and the doctors, the professionals, tell you that it's not real, what do? You continue to believe it's real, then you go and say, well, I've heard people say, little kids dying, family members dying, and them say, well, it's God's will. This tornado that destroyed the all these subdivisions and states or whatever, no, it's God's will. These people must have did something bad, or them states were doing something bad or whatever, and God punished them or whatever. All right. I'm just a human. I don't have no special powers. I don't know magic. I don't know witchery. I mean, people really need to wake up and smell the coffee or whatever you want to call it. We're creating this disaster by believing in it and just saying this has gone crazy. You know how many people have died over religion wars, over religion? You know how many people died in militaries? And it really ain't nothing but another country wanting to be bigger, badder than another country, wanting to do what other countries have done, conquered other countries and put other people in slavery. And then the people that have done it in the beginning, that started this mess, get overtaken. And then it must be the devil that's done this or whatever, Or you got the other people, the team that demolished everything, saying it was God was on our side. No, it's just madness, and it's just animalism. Just like if you were in the jungle, only the strong survive. But see, We're supposed to be humans. We're supposed to be smarter than animals. We were created smarter than animals, you know. But really, who's become the animal now? So they really did a number on us. They really did a number on the earth. Is the weather going to keep changing? I imagine so. How long? We don't know. Could be 5 years, 10 years. It could be 1,000 years, which is a year. It could be 200 years, 200,000 years, or whatever, you know. Whatever they tell us, we just go ahead and, all right, you know. We need to change America. A lot of people are probably going to say, oh my God, you must be Illuminati. No, I don't know what an Illuminati is. Sounds cool, but I'm not an Illuminatist or whatever they call it. I'm not a cult member. I'm nothing. I'm a human being that sits back and watches everybody and everything and goes, they're creating this. And you can actually see them creating it, a new way of living, a new way of thinking, a new way of speaking, a new way of, they create it. And then they always fall back on God or the devil, you know, and religion. It is true. And it's just like the weather changing. The weather's going to keep changing. You know? God don't change. He's the same today as he was yesterday. So therefore, there should be peace today as there is tomorrow and the day before that. But there ain't nothing. There ain't nothing I can do about it. There ain't nothing nobody can do about it. It's the earth. It's going to change. And you know what? You can tell the world, you know, we're going to have bad weather coming or whatever. And they don't listen. It's just weather. You know, it's just weather. Can't be, it'll kill you. A lightning bolt will kill you. A volcano eruption will kill you with gases and deadly gases and hot lava or whatever, you know. A hurricane will kill you. A flood will kill you. Cold will kill you. We need to start building differently. And I'm talking literally atmospheres within spares. I know what you people are saying. What are you talking about? Atmosphere within a spare. Well, we can create our own atmosphere. Then again, there's a lot of things we could be doing. Living actually on a ship. Creating cities on a ship. You want to call it a spaceship or whatever. Yeah. With its own atmosphere. With its own magnetic force. With its own gyro system. I know what you're all saying. Did he just say gyro? I love gyros. No, them are gyros. And I love gyros too. Or you can call them the gyro. Whatever you want to call them. So we got to start living like the Bible said. These people and these witches are real. When we catch these people, they succumb to death. Just like the Bible said. You know, but when someone takes it that far and says, okay, they're real. We're going to burn them at the stake. We're going to decapitate them. We're going to put them on torture racks. We're going to, you know, drown these people or whatever, you know, whatever they did back in the olden days. The kids say, you can't do that. And everything. That was all made up. It's not real. Witches ain't real. Demons ain't real. Whatever. Yeah, I know that. But these people that have been living by the Bible their whole life, it's real. Because why? Because they were brainwashed for thousands and thousands of years. We are fighting what we let what we created. We're fighting what everything we created. They created a book. Why? Because at that time, in that part of the country, a situation happened there, and they wrote about it and created it. Why? Probably to save life, probably to try and scare people so their race wouldn't be demolished. It's possible. Like I said, the day I wake up and I got I'm restored to what I looked like when I was a younger man or whatever, and have no pain, no suffering, and I'm in great health, and my mind is perfectly, nothing evil in it or nothing like that, then that's the day we all believe that everything we were told was true. All this stuff people have been telling us. What they could say is, hey, listen, it was to keep hope for mankind. No, there's no witches, magic, or nothing, or any of that crap. But we want to keep hope in people, because the same people that tell us to keep hope are the ones keeping us chained down. So they want to keep hope for us. Well, all right. The same people are saying that they want to keep hope because mankind to keep going on and pushing. And if everything was real that they were saying in the Bible before all this happened, we all were created equal. We are all as one. If one suffers, we all suffer. If one is having a great day, we all have a great day. If one is rich, we're all rich. But the way they did it, they based it on money. So therefore they can choose who would be, in the higher echelon or whatever. Most people in society today are told they can't be rich. You can't do that. I want to build drones 50 feet in circumference with lasers. You can't do that. You can't do that. And you have people fighting against you. The same people that went out and created things, and they went and did it and created it. It is these people that are telling us who lives, who can survive, who can be. I mean, of course, we can go ahead, and if we wanted to really, really show our muscle and our power, we could wipe everything out and then say, ha ha, we are the ones. We are the kings. But see, we have people that talk in one ear, and we got another guy on this side saying, if we do this, we are literally going to wipe half of this world out. And we will be the power. And the technology we have, they cannot overcome our technology or our ways. So then we become the powerhouse on earth. Could it be done? Oh, I'm here to tell you right now, surely it can be done. And that's how they became into power. See, someone from another country came over here and conquered this country and took it from the Native American Indians and the people that were here before, the Native American Indians and all that, The same thing with other countries. Somebody from another side of the earth came to another part of the earth and conquered that country and took it over and claimed it and said, we are king and this is our country and our land. You got to pay us. Now we could do the simple thing and do the same thing to the rest of the world, just as the government did. Every government has conquered a piece of property, a country, and claimed it for themselves and made people pay things and do things and whatever it was, you know, their way. Now, the earth is doing the same thing to humans. We think we're in power, but we're really not. If we wake up tomorrow and the earth says it's over with, it's over with. Nobody can do nothing about it. Unless we start using our wisdom and creating. Can we create a magnetic force on Earth to where if the core went cold, we would still be able to keep radiation from hitting us with a magnetic field? Yes. But we're so worried about building these billion-dollar homes and these people and these war machines and everything else instead of trying to keep life. One day somebody is going to build a self-sustainable atmosphere within a ship and going to leave this earth and be able to create earth on another planet. And we ain't looking towards that. We're looking towards, we want to conquer the earth. The earth is ours or whatever. We need to start getting rid of these people because these are the ones that are actually killing the earth. They want to create their machines. It's like the Bible said, it's the devil against good. We want to preserve life. They want to take it. Simple as that. And that is the truth. We want to preserve life. We want everyone to live for 500 years, 1,000 years. But we ain't going to do it this way. Is it possible? Sure it is. Genetically, these people are way, way off. They have no idea. They have no idea. Some of the most craziest men on earth that were labeled idiots were some of the smartest men that ever walked this earth. And if you really knew what they were if you really knew some of the things that they came up with and created that you people don't even know about, that people said, you're nuts, it'll never work. It did work. Just like the earth and the weather. We're killing ourselves. We build on the coast where we know hurricanes are possible. They're going to come in. They're going to wipe out massive amounts of houses. Who pays for that? Every single person in America. All of our insurance goes up. Everybody pays. What has to happen? Well, we got to cut down more trees to build more houses on the coast. So next year when the hurricane comes, it can demolish everything. And we're right back in the same boat. We need to start building for weather. We need to start creating our own magnetic forces just in case things go bad. We need to start creating our own heat, generating our own heat in our own cooling systems in case something did go bad. Now, like I said, the core of the earth, we could wake up tomorrow and it go cold, meaning actually burn itself out. That means that there's nothing more cooling or heating the air or the earth. That means that our magnetic force is going to shut down. That means we are going to succumb to solar winds and cold temperatures. So we need to start, the earth might not break apart. It might go dry and very cold. But if you prepare for that, then we can still sustain life right here on earth. We don't need to go to Mars unless, well, let's just say we know that the earth, the core is going to blow. It's going to turn into a star and it's going to blow up. Then we can leave Earth, and look for Earth or look for life on other planets, or whatever, or even create life on other planets. You don't need much to create life. You do need water. No way around it. So, like I said, the Earth is going to change. How long is this pattern going to go on? We don't know because no one has ever seen it. Earth is changing. Ain't nothing we could do about it. The only thing we could do about it is try and prepare for it. All these countries, all these scientists should have got together and said, we're killing each other with wars. One group of people wants revenge. One group of people wants to rule the earth. Just like the other side has been doing for however long, So is it going to change? Everything's going to change. I would like to say for the better. We've lost morals, dignity, you name it. Me talking about right now on the other side of here, there's a scientist, someone in the world going, oh my God, he's right. Sure I am. Of course, there's going to be other people out there that see this and say, you're an idiot. It's impossible. Well, sure it is. That's what they said about us going to the moon. That's what they said about us doing a lot of things. Solar, everything. These things work. It just costs money. And eventually, they work. Solar power does work. Wind power does work. Battery power does work, but for only so long. If you have no way to store that energy, then you're constantly having to try and capture energy. So, the earth will go cold, but the sun will shine. As long as the sun is out, there'll be some kind of war. But mainly, our warmth comes from our core. Keeps the ground warm. You get down so far and the ground ain't frozen. It's warm. 55 degrees, whatever, 40 degrees or whatever. And the only reason it is that is because of the core. The core can go cold. The earth will go cold. The weather will change. We'll lose our magnetic force. And then we will slowly but surely succumb to UV rays and radiation and solar winds. And it'll burn stuff up. There'll still be a night and there'll still be a day. Just, it'll be more radical. It'll be like another planet that we go to look at or whatever. It's still there. It still gets sunlight and it still gets darkness, but it's cold. Either that or it's real hot. So, the weather's changing. Hurricanes are changing. And eventually our hurricanes will be like what's on Saturn or whatever, the giant storm where people are like, well, that's impossible because there's no water for it. It's like a giant hurricane. Well, sure it is. But the atmosphere that it's in creates it, feeds it. Don't need water. Eventually hurricanes will come right up on the land and keep its eye wall and actually uh, stay intact and do damage. Eventually. So a lot of people say, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. All right, maybe not, but it is a proven fact that eventually either this planet will go hot, meaning explode and turn into a star, or it'll go dormant, meaning the core will burn itself out. And, people are worried about looking for other planets. Well, we could do this stuff on Earth here. If the last ditch effort to leave this planet is if it's going to go turn into a star, then we got to leave because no one will survive. Or if we get too close to a black hole, it'll rip this planet apart, just sling it into another planet or sling us out somewhere. Or if it don't suck us right into the black hole itself, we don't know. Nobody's actually gone into a black hole. I would like to send a drone out into space into a black hole just to see what's on the other side, but nothing will survive. It'll rip it apart. So I don't know. If we were more prepared, these tornadoes would not be as bad. If there was some way we can start building homes underground in certain areas that we know, eventually one day, the whole world will succumb to tornadoes and hurricanes and bad weather. Not just, oh, well, you live in Tornado Alley, so that's why you guys have tornadoes or whatever, or you live on the coast. That's why you experience hurricanes. But eventually this will happen all over the earth in places it's never happened before. Valium, FM, says if man had really been to the moon, that there would be a McDonald's there. This is true, but we love Burger King better, so we did put a Burger King there. The Earth's going to change, people. Get ready. It's not over with. We don't know what's happening. It's like Mr. Trump said, this has never been recorded before. Nope. Now, what do I think about the wind turbines? We need to change them. I know what people are saying. What do you mean we got to change the wind turbines fields that we have? We got to change them. We got to make them collapsible. If we know there's going to be a storm coming in, that either we can lower them to where they're not as high up in the atmosphere, in the air, where the winds are stronger, because believe it or not, some of these wind turbines that we have do play a part in some of the winds that we're having. Excuse me. But it ain't the wind turbine's problem, because the wind turbine is doing its job. It's supplying us with energy. But in certain circumstances, they have to shut down that wind turbine. And you really can't do that because with the force of the wind and the blades and everything, it's going to spin unless they put it into a locking system where the blades can't spin. But therefore, then it succumbs to stress. So I'm thinking the wind turbines are doing their jobs, but maybe we need to start overcoming and adapting the wind turbine where these wind turbines might be able to retract down to a lower level and be able to collapse the blades. So therefore there's not as much stress on it, and we don't keep going through generators. You know, it is a problem. They do burn up. Sometimes they get out of hand in a storm, and they spin and spin and spin, and next thing you know, the motor's getting too hot and it explodes. If that's the case, we're going to have to come up a way to liquid cool them to keep the generators cool. I mean, can we do this? Well, sure we can. But they're so worried about politics and religion and money and power and who chooses to live and die or whatever, you know. Come on, people. How many times do you have to hear that there's a cure for cancer right around the corner? I mean, I heard that when I was just a kid. Nah, it'd be 10, 20 years and we'll have a cure for cancer. That'll be a thing of the past. Well, it ain't. It still happens today. People still die of cancer today. You know, sexual diseases, something that they, you know, these are things that they knew was a problem and could have solved, but they chose not to. Why? Because there's no money in saving people. Why? Because the earth, then we got too many people. You know, we're getting overpopulated or whatever. Then they got to start killing off the herd. I don't know why it is. But this time of the year is always hard for me. Christmas, New Year, you know, Christmas time and Thanksgiving or whatever. It sometimes is it's hard on people. They're using you people as guinea pigs right underneath your noses, and you don't even realize it. Same thing that happened to me. Only the strong survive until we start killing off the strong, and then they're like, "You can't do that." Well, that's what you did to us. You know, a lot of this stuff is popping up. A lot of these diseases, a lot of these lung respiratory diseases are coming up. Where are they coming from? Well, we got to track it down. How many of these people that say succumb of COVID smoked cannabis or were vapors that vaped? Well, you know, I hate to bust your bubbles, people, but vaping anything that is a, a mist, a liquid that is turned into a mist and you inhale it, that water, that mist that you inhale condenses back to water in your lungs. That's what a vapor is. It's just mist. It takes a liquid, vaporizes it, which is a steam, which eventually condenses back into a liquid. So how many of these people had popcorn lung? How many of these people maybe, and I'm saying just maybe, I'm pro cannabis if it's clean cannabis. How many of these people succumb to maybe a bad strain of cannabis? And you know, there's a lot of money being made in the cannabis business now. They don't want that to get out. And maybe it was a bad strain of cannabis, or maybe it was a mold in the cannabis or whatever. That's why I'm telling these cannabis people, if they're going to do this, they have to do it professionally. They have to test everything. They have to have a guy there in the lab at the cannabis place testing everything, or somewhere, because it's way too easy for someone to take good cannabis and swap it out for bad cannabis. You know, and you got to be truthful with the vapors. It is a proven fact. Vaping is a steam. You breathe it in, it condenses back to liquid in your lungs. Therefore, you succumb to popcorn lung, which is actually pneumonia. You get water in your lungs, pneumonia. Not including the other things that they put into it to condense it into a steam, you know. It's just like people making moonshine. They take a liquid, heat it up. The steam from that liquid that they're heating up travels through the pipes, and then it goes down into a thumper, which cools the steam. And what does it do? Well, then it condenses it back down into liquid. So it's the same thing when you breathe it in. And a lot of people were thinking, well, maybe that's something. It could be more damage than really what it is smoking a cigarette. Could be. Smoking a cigarette's bad for you. But you would have thought by now they would have a cigarette by now that contains no nicotine. Which they probably do. I just haven't seen it yet. So the world is going to change. It's going to keep changing. And we need to keep readings on things, meaning atmosphere, meaning gravity, meaning a volcano eruption, something, a solar flare could tilt us off axis, could speed us up just an extra 20 miles an hour speed of the earth spinning, and it could really cause massive damage. The earth spins at a certain speed. Any slower, gravity would be different. Any faster, gravity is going to be different. So there's some things we need to figure out. as a society, as mankind. No, I don't know. So that is the truth. We know that next year we're going to have hurricanes. We know next year we're going to have tornadoes. But yet, as a society, we're not prepared for it. And then when it happens, we all act like it's a dramatic tragedy. Well, we could have, instead of making militaries and death machines and war machines, we could have easily been spending it on other things to save life instead of taking life. Call it what you want. Call it humans against aliens, because that's what a lot of people think's going on right now. Us humans that were created from the earth, by the earth, genetically changed through animals, whatever you want to call it. We came from the sea, whatever. We were humans. We were created from this earth. But there might be others that are on this earth that ain't from this earth. And they call themselves gods or whatever. Who knows? All I know is my God, I can't believe how much death all this has created, more than life. There's been more evil and death than procreation of life on the earth. You know, remember in the Bible it said people lived for 400, 800,000 years. You know, it ain't that way no more on the earth. We can actually create a clone from someone's DNA. We can create life, a twin. And if you take that person that we create from a small child and we act and think and program that child to act and think the same way I did, as video or recordings they had of my voice or the things I did in life, well, that clone will look like me. And if it's taught to act the way I used to act or did act or am acting, then that clone would be me. And its brain would think it's me because it's been brought up to think that its whole life. So, are things like that possible? Yes. Are creating monsters on Earth possible? Yes. Genetically, DNA, surgery? Yes. These things are possible. And I refuse to lie. It's a proven fact it has happened in the past in experiments. People think, two-headed monsters or whatever, impossible. No. Back in the 30s, I think, or the 40s, they did experiments on people where they did sew two heads onto a body. They did do experiments where they took a dog's head and sewed it onto another dog's body. And it was a two-headed dog. So these things are possible genetically through a genetic change, through a DNA change or whatever, or surgical. So these things that we live in and that people tell people that that's not real. It's not real. It really is real. It really is. Scientifically, genetically, DNA, atoms splitting, all this stuff is real and is possible. Just like the earth is possible of one day just going cold. And if the core goes cold, it freezes up, that's going to affect the speed of the earth and all kinds of things. So we got to start thinking the future, being the best. And it ain't going to take just America doing it. All these countries would have to get together and they all would have to live that way to protect mankind or society or whatever. If you got one country that's doing it but not another country, well, we're fighting a losing battle if they're still pumping out coal and we're using, it has to be a thing that's together. If not, we're fighting a losing battle. So these things are possible, and they might have been gifted to me. They might have been stuff already, that were locked in my brain and now are coming out or whatever. Is it possible to do certain things? Yes. Is it possible to create a magnetic force on Earth in case we did lose our core? And there went our magnetic force. Yes, it's possible. Yes. Is it possible to create an atmosphere? Yes. Right temperature, right organisms and everything, chemicals or whatever. Yes, you can create your own atmosphere within a room with the right things. Plants, that gives off oxygen, sunlight. Yeah, I imagine it surely could be done. They do that stuff already with plants and whatever and aquariums or whatever, and everyone's like, what's going on? Well, it's got its own atmosphere within a square glass box. It's creating its own moisture, its own small vortex storms or whatever within a little aquarium or whatever. So I imagine it's possible. I don't know. I'm just thinking. I don't know. Depressed, whatever. You look back on all this stuff, and then this time of year, COVID, all this crap still going on. The new COVID, people hurting for money, other families in the world that have sold humanity out are sitting behind beautiful houses and gated areas, and you wouldn't believe some of the things that they've done to get that money or power or whatever. And they're having a great Christmas, and the kids are getting $1 million cars and homes and whatever. And the rest of the world suffers and worries about getting enough money to send. We can never get what, we could do things to make a lot of money, but then you're going against everything that was really, we weren't even supposed to take money. The world wasn't supposed to be about money if you go by the Bible. We need doctors that are going to try and save lives instead of saying there's nothing we can do. If we're living in a world where witches are real, spells and demons and everything are real, then we need to start living like it's real. And we need to get rid of these people because they're the ones that are causing the trouble within mankind, society, and ourselves. If these people are really trespassing on us, then we need to do what the Bible said to do, if you go by the Bible. If they're creating these things, it could be alien. Like everyone's saying, alien. All right. Whatever you say, I'll go with the flow. And most Americans will. If you tell them that, eventually you tell them that enough, and they'll believe it. Sure as Charlie Manson brainwashed people, sure as all these cults and suicide cults or whatever, religion cults and all these will kill hundreds, thousands of some kind of mass suicide or whatever, It's really unbelievable. Who am I to say if a man is gay to be with another gay or another man or whatever? I didn't write the Bible. I'm not God. I'm not Jesus. But this is a society they'll never be able to procreate unless they create it in a lab. Same thing with a woman. If a woman is gay or whatever, this is something they will never be able to do. But a trans man or woman or whatever, somebody that was born a man, but yet looks like a woman, has breasts, but don't have a womb can impregnate a woman that is a real woman. So that is possible, where they look like a woman, but their genetics and their reproduction organs can impregnate another woman. This is possible. You know, that they would be able to survive because it's actually a man that looks like a woman that can impregnate another woman, but cannot impregnate another man. So it is a society that would slowly burn itself out, meaning procreation will not exist. You know, they have to think about these things, but they don't. It's all about free will, and we want our freedoms, and they'll choose their freedoms over saving this world. I'll tell you that much. If we came out and told them we can save this world to where we could put 30, 40, 50 years onto our lives, we could, no, we don't want that. That's our freedoms. And then they'll fight us. The same people that agree, yes, we want to change the world, we want to put 40, 50 years on our lives. And we'll have these people attacking us because we want to, advance. They want to stay behind, and, you know, they're the ones that'll be telling us you can't do that. Only God can do that. So each day gets crazier. Like I said, one day someone's going to create something that is going to wipe mankind out, and they will be the only ones left, and then they will start over just like they did in the beginning. They will choose who lives and dies. They will be the superior ones in power or whatever. And the road goes both ways or whatever. So, like I said, is there things that are coming that are we ready for? No. We're not ready for another pandemic with Omicron or whatever it is, or Abercrombie and Finch, or who knows. But we're not ready for it. Just as we weren't ready for the flu, the flu, the common cold. They still can't. They can't come up with a cure with that. How to take it out of a genetic gene out of your body. They still just can't figure it out. They don't want to figure it out. They want to dump all their money into their big homes, cars, power, weapons, killing devices, so they can keep power, so they can say we're superior than everybody else, instead of saving mankind, or our children or grandchildren or whatever. I'll tell you what, I believe in good, but all I see is a bunch of people and a government that only cares about themselves. When it gets down to it, the same people we hire to do a job are the same people that once they get in there, mess everything up. How? I don't know. Or we can never get rid of them. Somehow, some way, even if we got a hold of everybody and concocted a giant thing to vote every single one of them out of there, you think they would leave? Nope. Nope. Not without a fight. Even though the papers and the votes showed that they lost, you know, they'll do everything they can to stay in there. So it's a mess. And you hate to lie to children and say it's a perfect world. It's cotton candy and you know, marmalade skies. And then when they grow up, they look at us and go, "You thought you know, you said everything was perfect. Everything, none of this stuff is real." But slowly but surely, they're going, "Oh my God, you know, you lied to us." Yeah, well, it's a chain of lies that have been going on for a long time, people. And every time someone tries to break that chain, well, they end up dead. Family curses and all kinds of stuff, and countries cursing us and everything. It's no wonder this world is in the shape it's in. It's no wonder. Ah, shoot. You know, I thought by now they would get the hint. I thought by now they would figure out how to make medication that you take that actually cleans your blood. You know, I thought that they would be able to figure out how to create white blood cells and everything. Well, they have. They have figured out how to do that, but I can't believe they're not using more of that. Blood transfusions. But then again, you can't. You got to create blood. You got to create white blood cells and red blood cells, and you got to create things that you can't get from society because it's contaminated with all kinds of other things. They got, you know, they're working on it, but it ain't there yet. It ain't where it should be. That's what I'm saying. We should have had this stuff 30 years ago, 50 years ago. But like I said, they were so worried about battling against each other, all these countries, militaries. All this time, and they just couldn't come together and just be humans on Earth. We're not China, we're human. We're not America, we're human. You know, we're not Russian, we're human. We're not any country, we're humans. The animals have become smarter than the humans. We got gorillas and chimpanzees that are smarter than some of us. We got very, very bad people on earth. And if these people are what the Bible says, they're evil people, they have powers to do things with their mind, with their spirit, whatever it may be, whether through witchery, sorcery. It's a never-ending battle until we get serious and hunt these people down, and do something with them. No, you can't do that because the Bible says, "Thou shalt not kill." No, boy. All right, what do we do with them? I don't know. I keep telling people, without love, you create monsters. Loneliness, you create depression. Some of us overcome it. Some people don't know how to deal with it and succumb to madness. Affection, love, I guess they're just something. There's going to come a point where people will be alone. The main thing is remembering that your sanity. Pray to God if you're a Bible person and believe in a higher power, and go on with life. Be happy, because being happy and in a good mood is good for the body. When you're angry all the time, your blood pressure goes up. Your heart reacts. Your muscles tighten up. Your veins tighten up. And even the old sphincter. So what do we do? I don't know. I'm just like the next straight man. I love a good woman. But if we let this go too far, well, we just get walked all over, and woman becomes powerful, and if she don't like you, she'll have you killed or whatever. That's done today. That's nothing new. I don't like talking to women or cursing or anything bad or whatever. But if everything the Bible says is real, no, it ain't us. It's these fallen angels and demons. You know? Or these women could deliberately go out and drive you absolutely batty. And you know what? The vagina is like a drug. I've seen cases of men, women killing humans just so they can have their drugs. And believe me, vagina could become a drug too. I am a vagina recovering vaginaholic. Keep your sanity. Keep praying to something good. Keep believing in something good. Try acting like something good. And a lot of these people will play mind games with you and be what they really ain't behind closed doors. Me, I'd let it all out. I'll be the first one to tell you there's good days and there's days when if you have people around you and people pay attention to you and people give you the love that you need, the world goes a lot better. You know, I know that. I'm here to testify to that. You know, you treat somebody like bad, somebody's always locked away by themselves or whatever, you know. That plays on their emotions and their mind, and it takes strong people to overcome that and adapt and go on. It don't mean the world is over with and you'll never love again or you'll never, it just means at this point you might not be attracted to another woman, or you might not be attractive to another woman or whatever. So you go on, you keep going on, and yada 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 yada. You know, yes, it'll play with your mind, and yes, you will become a colder person than what you thought you could be. But find peace, amuse yourself, try and make contact with other humans or whatever when you can. And life is good. We're lucky to be alive. You know. But from what I've been watching and reading on social media and on news and all this and that, no, somehow they figured out how to substitute human life with man robots and women robots. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going on, how this is going to work out over there. I imagine it'll probably work out pretty good. Yeah. Well, let me tell you what's going to happen. There's going to be people that probably have disabilities or whatever it may be, disfigurements, whatever, that ain't attracted to a woman, or a woman ain't attracted to them, but now might be able to have a Anna Nicole robot or whatever, and that is capable of giving birth, whatever, or impregnating a woman, or a woman being able to be impregnated by a man robot, or vice versa, whatever. So it's going to be interesting to see. Now, I wouldn't be as scared because that robot is only going to do what it's programmed to do. That's it. It won't be connected to any kind of telephone line that someone could tap into, you know. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. You know, that robot will be programmed to your specifications, and there's no, needing an internet or anything for it to operate or it to get hacked or, any way for that. So the robot's going to do what it's programmed to do, and that's it. We become studies to people. The world's become a project to me. Society, the other people on the other side of this camera writing everything down I say or typing it or whatever. I'm their experiment, and the world is my experiment. And we are also the world's experiment, too. Going to be interesting. I can tell you that much. It's going to be very interesting. I'm doing more work into this trespassing stuff. Is it actually possible for these people, this thing, to put other people's souls, other people's sicknesses, their spirit trespassing if they're sick or it's a death spirit? And I mean, there's a lot of experimenting or research into it, it's got to be something, because the Lord would not tell you to forgive those who trespass against, well, who's those? People around us. Humans. People that have passed. Spirits. Demons, whatever. Well, if that's the case, we can't arrest anybody, because most of these people acting like idiots are probably possessed. I've been possessed. People think it's a joke. No. Mind control. All that. Yeah. And there's different tactics of it, violence or whatever, to try and scare people or control them. And that's why a lot of people get killed. And would I do something like that, to protect my life? Well, we all love life. So therefore, the instinct is to preserve life and protect yourself. But, therefore you're compelled, because you got that thought in the back of your head that you're not supposed to kill or anything like that. So it's just it's just a mind boggler. And if you let it get too much wrapped up into it, you go too far down the rabbit hole, these people lose control. And no, I'm not talking about DMT. This is real life talking, I don't even know what DMT is, but we got to be careful. We got to make sure that these cannabis places someone ain't getting in there and maybe spraying. I mean, I am a pro cannabis person. If it can save these people's lives, why not? But it's just like any other business. We got to make sure nobody gets in there and contaminates the product, meaning with any kind of drugs or molds, or they have somebody in there that's testing the cannabis, and there's a deadly mold strain in it, and they say, oh yeah, it's fine. And then, you know, uh, hundreds of people get infected. I mean, it's got to be professional, just like a drug company. If they don't do that, well, some of this stuff could be coming from stuff like that, vaping. You know, at first they said, well, it's more safer than cigarettes. But as the years went by and cases started popping up, people having a pneumonia, popcorn lung, and all kinds of stuff, they started saying, well, maybe this ain't too good. Oh, man, it's 3:30 in the morning. Well, happy Lord's Day. You know, even though in the back of my head I'm going, oh, this is all made up. Everything they've been telling us is a bunch of crap. You still say happy Lord's Day, or something happens, you pray to God or whatever. Something good. You know, them are the good people. Then you deal with the people that say it's not real, and deal with it, and it's a sickness, go to the doctor or whatever. But then you go to the doctor and the doctor says there's nothing you could do or whatever. It's a catch-22. It's madness, and you're only as healthy as your doctor knows. You're only as good as your teacher. You're only as good of a soldier as your drill sergeant, or you're only as good as these people. If these people are in the business to make money and that's it, and they have no knowledge of anything, and they're just there for the paycheck or to make money or scam or whatever, then that's as only good as you're going to be in that field, or have someone looking out for you or whatever. On Earth, we have people that are killing their own children. Well, they're killing their own children, killing their own family. Parents killing their own children because they read it in the Bible that the kid rebelled or whatever. And in the old time Bible, you were to chop off his arm or take his life away. He'd be better off dead than to, if it's crazy. Much like the earth is getting the weather pattern that is changing. Like I said, we got to do something with the wind turbines. Are they doing their jobs? Yes. They are creating energy. Do we need to design them differently? Yes. We need to be able to retract them down when we're having storms and fold them up where they're not tore down, or they actually succumb to the winds and destroy themselves by spinning. When you shut down a wind turbine, they're usually free spinning, so they don't come down because they're so tall or whatever, or they don't succumb to the wind and spin out of control, which will destroy them and actually act like a fan. There's a pro and con to everything. And with the wind turbines, they do their jobs when the winds are at certain speeds. They do their jobs. After a certain speed, they destroy themselves and actually create more of a problem than what we had in the first place. It's called a vortex. You know, wind's coming from one way, turning that turbine is creating a vortex on the other side of that fan, or that, one side is sucking in more, the other side is blowing it out. So I think it's time to work on that. Like I said, don't get me wrong, they are doing their job. They're supplying us with lots of energy. It's just we need to overcome and adapt. We need them to collapse, fold up when we have a storm coming in that area. And after a certain speed, wind speed, where it actually become more damaging, uh, they need to be able to fold up on themselves and retract down closer to the ground. Is it possible? Sure, it's possible. It takes money, but see, that's where we went bad. We created everything on money. It's going to take a lot of money. Well, how about we just do it to save people's lives, energy, and mankind? There's no money in it. I know, but we'll save millions and millions of lives. Yeah, but who's going to pay for it? It takes money, and that's my point. Ugh. Well, everybody's gone to bed. So I want to say happy Lord's Day early. I know people usually wait till morning, but it is morning. So, Lord, thanks for another day. I believe in something good. I don't know. We might all be praying to an alien. Or be praying to actually the devil, thinking we're praying to to God, and it's actually the devil. We don't know some of this stuff. You read in the Bible, the devil was cast the earth and walked the earth and had power to deceive and do all kinds of stuff. We might all be praying to the devil, actually praying to God, thinking we're praying to something good. I don't know. Crazy world. So, like I said, these times are all hard for all of us that can't give our kids what we want. Can't do the things we want for the world because we don't have enough money, or times are bad, or any government person with a family should know, if they were going to give us help, the best time to give people checks is on the between November and December, so everybody has a good Lord's Day, the day Jesus was born or whatever. It ain't that way. I wish it was. I wish they would have gave us on December 1st our stimulus package, but they still haven't passed that yet. No, well, it should be after January. You watch all these YouTube things, and after January, yeah, but see, that's January. See, the kids, the family, holiday, Jesus was born. That's December, November, December. Holidays is, So the rest go on, and they have. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, go out and get a job. Go out there. You don't have money." Well, I can easily create millions and billions and quadrillions of dollars with my mind if I wanted to deceive and do things and and it was only about money and create things and drugs and weapons and stuff to rule the world, but then I would be stepping on everything and everyone just to make a dollar, just to send presents for, I can go out and do all kinds of things to make money. And that's where we come into a thing, because people are saying, well, you got to do what you got to do for your kids. I can easily say that to this world. But then I know what a lot of people are saying. Well, you should have saved for it. You should have did this. You should have did that. Well, I'm restarting over. I lost what I had. And instead of shooting myself in the head or killing somebody, I chose to lose everything I have and start over. And this is what it is now until I make it something better. But what am I going to do to make it better? When you're so far in age and you don't have the technology or the chemistry or the medications to do what you want, you don't have the money, you go, well, we want to do this, you can't do that. You don't have the money. But then they turn around and try and do it on their own, and they get the mixture wrong in the thing or the whatever, and the next thing it goes sour, and you're who knows. You got to watch getting ripped off at all these places, even these cannabis places where you think you're buying a certain strain, a certain thing, but you're getting the cheap stuff as they keep the expensive good stuff. I've been thinking about all this cannabis business. I was like, I think I might do a thing. They shut me down real quick. Well, you're going to need $1 million worth of, you're going to need this, you're going to need that. Yeah. Says who? Give me a couple seeds and a couple grow lights and let's go. But you got to follow the law, and you got to have all this money and all these insurance and these banks or whatever, people backing you, whatever, and they choose who does what they do or whatever. And like I said, the cannabis business is just like every other business. We get ripped off every single day in society and in the world and in business. If somebody standing behind the counter can charge you an extra $1, they will. Same thing with this new business popping up with cannabis. If they can sell you cheap shit and keep the good shit to make more of a profit, they will. Meaning you go in there, I want this flower bud or whatever, and it's I don't know, it's whatever it is, a gram or something of a certain percentage of a THC, the high, the stuff that gets you stoned and whatever it may be, that's $20-$30 a gram or whatever. I don't know what all the prices are, and they can sell you something that's half the THC and not as good, and then the average person won't know. So therefore, they're keeping the good product, the high dollar product, the potent stuff, because they make a bigger profit on it. And all they do is give you the crap, and they turn around and keep that and sell it, the high product out, you know. Is it possible? I don't know. I've been thinking about all kinds of business stuff. Is it, you know, for these people to rip the society off the people? It's just like McDonald's or any other business or anything. If they can make an extra dollar, charge you an extra dollar, they will. If they can give you something that looks like it's brand new, but it's actually used, they will. And charge you a brand new price for it, they will. If they can rip you off somehow in the cannabis business where to give you garbage baby crap and keep the big dollar stuff for clients or other clients, or you know, for themselves or whatever, and charge you big, you know, charge you the same price, the $30 for a product that's only, you know, $10. Come on. You got to have people in there watching. You got to, it's just like anything. It's just like going to get an oil change. You pay $40, $50. You go in there and the guy don't change your oil, you know, or he pulls the plug on it and drains it halfway and then replaces it the other half with good oil and wipes your oil filter down with a solvent rag and makes it look like it's brand new, you know. And you drive off, pay $40 or whatever, and they only spent 3.5 or 3 quarts of oil and charge you for 5 plus whatever and an oil filter. It's just like anything else. We get ripped off. It's just like even government will rip us off. I don't know. Thank God I don't know everything. I'm dumb. And who am I, Lord, to even talk this way? I'm the one with the disability. So I'm here to tell you guys it's tough not being around your children on Christmas, holidays, or every day. It's tough losing everything you got. All you could do is you can't, I can't change what the courts say in these people's lives. If the mother has custody of the child and she don't want the father to see that kid ever, that's the law. We can't change it. Sure, we can go in and fight, spend tons of money in the system, and every day be a living hell because she didn't get what she wanted. Or he didn't get what he wanted. And human life has become a bargaining tool for money. And I know what a lot of people are going to say. Money, if you don't have money, you got no way to support your kids. Well, that's true, but yeah, I don't know. The Bible spoke totally different. So what are we doing? Today we live by the Bible, but in real life, it takes money. We pay into all this stuff too. Taxes, Social Security, state taxes. You think they'd treat us a little bit better, huh? You know, I don't even make enough to make taxes or file taxes anymore. I used to every single year. But they still get taxes out of me. And every little thing I buy, state, federal government gets a chunk of that. Social Security. They all get a part of it. Well, Social Security, no, because they only take that out when you're working. But in everyday life, federal and state make money off you. Oh, God. Oh. Whether you pay taxes or not, they or don't make enough to pay taxes, you still pay taxes in everything you buy. No. Well, hopefully this stage it's cold out. No joke, it is cold out. It dropped dramatically, real fast, and then it's supposed to warm up here pretty soon. Let's check that out real quick. Let's see what the weather's going to be like next week before I get off of this contraption. Oh, look at this. No, no joke. It's pretty cold out right now. I think it was like 20 something degrees out or whatever. Colder than that, I think. I know it's pretty cold out. But tomorrow it's supposed to jump up to 40 and sunny, mostly sunny, breezy, and cooler, 43. 49. Wednesday, 60. Thursday's 56. Friday's 43. And then 34, 36. So that's a pretty big jump from today or last night when we had them storms come through. It was 50 something, almost 60 degrees out. That storm came through, and then that cold front came in behind it. And just from last night, from the storm, and tonight or this morning, the temperature dropped, and it was actually snowing and sleeting this morning when I woke up. You know, little snowflakes and sleet or whatever. So that's a pretty dramatic change, and now the weather's supposed to go back up and get warm again. Wednesday's calling for rain, 60 degrees. I imagine so. Probably pop off some more storms. And Thursday's rain, and 56. So I imagine we'll have storm between Wednesday and Friday, or rain or somewhere. It's just horrible what happened out there, and it just tore the crap out of everything. Literally just tore it up.
At the UPS store this holiday, we've got you covered with our pack and ship guarantee. We'll take care of the bubble cushioning and boxing so you can.
This is an ABC News special report.
Hi everyone, I'm Phil Lipoff. We are coming on the air right now to bring you the latest on the storm report that's continued to pour in from across this country. 22 tornadoes have been reported across 6 states so far. Tornado warnings are still in effect right now north of Nashville in Tennessee and in parts of Kentucky. That state, unfortunately, now reporting at least 70 dead from a devastating tornado outbreak in western Kentucky. These pictures are dramatic and difficult to look at. The preliminary reports of the primary tornado there on the ground for more than 200 miles. At least 3 others died in severe weather in Tennessee, and there is, at this time, 1 person confirmed to have lost their life when a tornado went through an Arkansas nursing home. Kathy Onan, mayor of Mayfield, Kentucky, joins us now on the phone. Kathy, can you hear me?
Yes, Phil.
Okay, first of all, I just have to say before we get into the particulars of what's going on there, our hearts and thoughts are with you and your entire city, because we know Mayfield there was hit so incredibly hard, and in the overnight hours is probably the worst time for this to happen. How are you doing? How are your people doing who are out there been rescuing people all night long?
My people are doing extremely well, Phil. There's nothing that touches your heart more than a first responder and hard at work. And we not only have first responders from our city and our county and Western Kentucky County, but they are here from the Starsway in Louisville, Kentucky, and we have been here since before dawn. And we are so blessed to have them here with us.
Yeah, this needs to be one of those all hands on deck, everybody helping out, because what we're looking at right now, I'm not sure if you can see it, is devastation from block to block. We know there was a factory there that was hit particularly hard, but this tornado destroyed everything in its path. Do you know the extent of the damage yet in Mayfield?
I do not. I have been out to the MCP, the candle factory, which is the point of our greatest loss of life that we know now. I have no numbers for you there. It was, of course, a night shift. It hit us about, I'll say around 9:30 last night. And so just...
Yeah, my heart goes out to them. Sucks, but I think we got to start building something new building ways. But then again, you can't do that because it costs more money. It costs more money. Trying to save lives, but yet it costs too much money. Money we don't have. Money that only people have that, I don't know. Nah. But all right, I'm getting some sleep. You guys have a good night. God bless, and happy Lord's Day, and be safe, and watch the weather. Be prepared. Get yourself a weather radio too. They do help, but then again, they control that. They don't want to turn it on or broadcast it out that there's a storm. Then it just creeps up on you and you don't know about it if you're not paying attention to the news or the outside, the weather, And some people, we just ain't designed. Are the places we live or whatever. There is no protection. The only protection from a tornado is underground. Really. If you ask my opinion. Or in a building that can sustain 300, 400, 500 mile an hour winds. We don't know how bad these tornadoes are going to get. We don't know what the winds can actually be if the conditions are right. If the atmosphere opens up and sucks out of, we don't know. So either you got to build a building that, a home that can succumb 300 mile an hour winds, or you got to build a little shelter underneath ground to where you're perfectly safe from the wind, in the storm. I don't know. But you guys have a good night. Be safe. Don't pay any attention to me. I'm just dealing with life just like everybody else does. Don't hurt yourselves. It ain't worth it. I know, although we live in a mad hut, it ain't worth it. And hopefully one day the Lord will come to the earth, or whatever we've been believing in, that's good. There'll be mass healings and the world won't rain, storm, or nothing. Perfect outside, perfect life, perfect. Everybody is created equal. Everybody has everything as everybody else does. But I don't know. I'll talk to you guys later. Be safe. Once again, keep an eye on the weather, especially if you live up here by me, down south or whatever, with the dramatic change in weather. Now it's supposed to warm up, which will probably bring rains and storms. So talk to you guys later. Have a great Sunday. And remember, who loves you, baby? Kojak. All right, talk to you guys later. Or whoever's. If there's anybody even watching, I have no idea. Hasta la vista.